Thank you so much for joining us today. Gosh, that scene is just panic-inducing. And this series, Solos, has just an A-list wow factor cast. And you are one of the extraordinary members of this show that is made up of true solo performances. Is it true you were basically acting alone in most of it?
Yeah, I really don't know, Drew, how I snuck into the cast. First of all, that's number one.
No.
These people, there's Morgan Freeman, there's like Helen Mirren, Anthony Mackie. But yeah, the theme is that sort of we're in our separate worlds, kind of as we have been in the last year. Everyone sort of feels that. And I basically acted alone. It was a little vulnerable, but it was one of those challenges that I think like every actor wants the opportunity to have. And I didn't run from it necessarily.
I'm really excited for the show because it has a really diverse cast. It is on subjects that we all just contended with in ways we had no idea we ever would. You shot Miss Juneteenth in 2019, but many people had not heard of Juneteenth until 2020 when Black Lives Matter movement took center stage. Will you please talk about the importance and significance of that day?
June 19th, which we're, closely coming on, was the official emancipation of the enslaved African Americans in the United States of America. We have the Emancipation Proclamation, but 2.5 years later is when the remainder of the enslaved in Galveston, Texas, were informed that they had in fact been freed and were allowed to, start a new life. And I think it's an amazing moment in our history. It's actually a moment where the country moved forward. It's a huge moment. And I think we just haven't had enough conversations about that. We talk about the pain, but this is another moment, just like the civil rights and women's lib. We have to commemorate these sorts of moments so that we can move forward and just know like what the real foundations of the country are. So for me, I hope it took protests, it took seeing all the violence, but I hope that people at the very least will think about what that day might mean, and that the foundations of the nation, the way that we started the nation and our history is so varied, but our future can be even more dynamic and abundant and just wonderful if we take into account all of those things. And I like to do community service on Juneteenth, spend time with family, grilling. It's a lot like July the 4th.
I really appreciated everything that you said, and I'm in complete agreement and an understanding now that this will be a very important holiday that will be more and more recognized as it rightfully should have always been, has been, but will take on new meaning because of the protests and the loud voices. On a lighter note, a different note, if you will, I heard that when you were younger, before you became an actress, there was also another occupation that you were convinced you might get into.
Yeah, well, I got some questions for you, honey. No, I thought I was going to be a journalist or perhaps a talk show host.
Why did you want to be a journalist and a talk show host?
This is so bad. I can't believe we're talking. This is so bad. Well, it was like the 80s and 90s. So it was like Phil Donahue and Oprah, and there were all of these really like Who's the Father, super saucy, crazy talk shows. And I guess my parents were allowing me to watch them. So I would sort of boss my cousins around, my brothers and sisters, and we would just create our own talk shows in the living room.
I love that. And well, as soon as it's safe, please, will you come here and we can do the show together, and we could go to the news desk and be anchors and journalists and get our talk show host thing on?
I would absolutely love that. I'm going to hold you to that, actually.
Oh.
I'm going to call my team and be like, I think she was serious. Maybe I can actually.
I'm not the kind who puts stuff out there that I don't mean. I'm asking for a date, Nicole. So I would love to do that. Thank you, Nicole Beharie. Solos is available to stream tomorrow on Amazon Prime Video. It's going to be extraordinary. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.